Life in the wetlands. Remember that you need your book. Turn to page 110, and you need your little slip of green paper to write down the words as I pause and say them. All right, here we go. Life in the wetlands. Look and wonder. Can you guess what is the most important part of a wetland? The grasses and plants of a wetland help. I want you to write that first word, that next word that starts with a C. I'm going to read that sentence again. The grasses and plants of a wetland help clean the water that passes through. Wetlands are also home to a variety of birds and wildlife. So we're on page 112 now. What are wetlands? Your paddle slows down. The trunks of tall trees tower above you. The dark, muddy water is still. Frogs croak and insects buzz. An egret quietly looks for fish. You are in the wetlands. Wetlands are environments where water covers the soil for most of the year. The water in a wetland may be salt water, fresh water, or and you're going to write that next word that starts with an M. I'll read it again. The water in a wetland may be salt water, fresh water, or a mixture of salt and fresh water. Because wetland soil is usually covered by water, it does not hold much oxygen. Only plants that have adaptations for growing in this kind of soil can survive in the wetlands. Wetlands are found all over the world, except in Antarctica. They usually form along the, and you're going to write the next word that starts with an E. I'll read this sentence again. They usually form along the edge of a water body where land and water meet. In the green box there, I'm going to go ahead and read the caption. This great egret finds everything it needs to survive in the wetlands of Florida's Everglades. Up at the top there, it says wetlands help the environment on page 113. Wetlands help the environment. Fertilizers and chemicals from farming can harm ponds, lakes, and rivers. Wetlands slowly, you're going to write that next word, it starts with an F. Let me read that sentence again. Wetlands slowly filter and clean the water. Remember, we're on page 113. The plants and soil of a wetland act like sponges absorbing water. When oceans, rivers, ponds, or lakes overflow, the extra water is absorbed by a wetland. This helps prevent land environments from flooding. Wetlands also filter and clean the environment. They absorb chemicals that can leak into the water. As the water flows through the wetlands, it is filtered by the plants and soil. The water is, and the next word starts with a C. That's what you're going to write. Let me read it again. The water is cleaned by this natural process. Okay, now we're on page 114. At the top, in the purple, grasses and reeds grow in a, and you're going to write that next word. It starts with an M. I'll read it again. Grasses and reeds grow in a marsh. Bogs have wet, spongy ground covered in moss. What kind of plants live in wetlands? There are different kinds of wetlands. Each one has different kinds of plants. Marshes are wetlands where grasses and reeds grow. There are no trees in marshes. Swamps are wetlands with trees and shrubs. Cypress and willow trees grow well in swamps. Bogs are freshwater wetlands that are filled with, and you're going to write that next word, it starts with an M. I'll read the sentence again. Bogs are freshwater wetlands that are filled with moss and rich soil. Moss is a small, leafy plant. Plants that grow in wetlands have adaptations that help them survive in their wet environment. For example, some marsh plants have special, you're going to write that next word. Let me read that sentence again. For example, some marsh plants have special tubes in their stems. These tubes carry oxygen from the leaves to the roots. Now we're on page 115. Mangroves are swamp trees. These trees have giant, woody roots that grow above the waterline. The roots take oxygen directly from the air. Mangrove roots are home to shellfish and many small animals. Mangrove trees drop seeds shaped like little sticks into the water. Seeds may float for months. In time, the sharp end of a seed touches down on, you're going to write that next word. It starts with an F. Let me read the sentence again. In time, the sharp end of a seed touches down on fertile land. Then a new plant begins to grow. Towards the bottom in the yellow caption there, I'm going to read. The roots of mangrove trees are adapted to take in oxygen from the air. Page 116 now. What kinds of animals live in wetlands? Many kinds of animals live in wetlands. Here they find food, water, and shelter. Each has adaptations to help it survive. Amphibians are especially suited for life in the wetlands. Amphibians are animals that spend part of the time in water and part of the time on land. Frogs are amphibians. They are adapted to breathe through their, and you're going to write that next word. I'll read that sentence again. They are adapted to breathe through their wet skin. Herons are wetland birds. They are adapted to hunt in wetlands. They stand motionless and wait for prey. When the time is right, the heron snaps its long beak to catch frogs, insects, mice, or lizards. Walking catfish live in wetland ponds. A pond may disappear during a dry season. When this happens, the catfish moves over land to another body of water. The fish uses its fins as legs. It uses a special body part that holds air to breathe on land for short periods of time. Up at the top caption, the green one, the bullfrog must return to the water often to keep its skin wet. The next one down, this walking catfish can, and you're going to write that next word, starts with an S. This walking catfish can survive out of water for a short while. And the last one, this great blue heron uses its excellent eyesight to hunt.